Good evening. I'm Esteban Quintero, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Nebraska soccer team returns home to take on the Purdue Boilermakers in Maryland Terrapins at Hibner Stadium. The Huskers match against Purdue is tonight at 7:05, and NU's game against Maryland on Sunday, October 12th will kick off at 1:05. Both games will be streamed on the Big Ten Plus network, and fans can purchase tickets at huskers.com/tickets. In NFL news, the Philadelphia Eagles are set to face the New York Giants tonight at 7:15 at MetLife Stadium. You can watch that game on Amazon Prime. Over in Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies are squaring off against the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. They are currently 0-0 at the top of the fourth inning. The Dodgers lead that best-of-5 series 2-1. And later tonight, it's the Milwaukee Brewers visiting the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. First pitch is set for 8 o'clock. The Brewers lead that series 2-1. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit stonebridgeiwm.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Con blocked it. It's picked up. Carter Nelson. Touchdown, Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the Cream. Keelan Smith, the motion man from left to right. Snap, quick screen near left, leaping catch from Hunter, leaks through, breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes, Hunter 40, 35-30, Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
Back right swing by Kennedy Martin, dug by Bergen. She can do it all. 23-13 Huskers right side swing. Virginia Adriano. Kaboom! Putting dents in the rec hall deck. It's 24-13.
Now, here is your host, Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey, good Thursday evening to you, Sports Nightly, in our last full show of the week. We've got a 1-hour abbreviated show before Nebraska and Washington go head-to-head in volleyball. So a 1-hour show from our traveling crew. Voice of Husker football, Kyle Crooks and Jessica Coody. They are traveling with the team. That's why you are hearing me or seeing me tonight. And I'm excited to be with you as we're going to do a deep dive into this big Maryland-Nebraska matchup, which will be taking place Saturday out in College Park, Maryland, 2:30 kickoff with Husker Radio Network coverage beginning at 10:30. Coming up on the show, in fact, in just a little bit, had a chance to catch up with Howard Griffith of the Big Ten Network. We're going to get his thoughts not only on Nebraska and Maryland, but this is a huge slate of college football games in the Big Ten Conference, some ranked opponents. There's even matchups that, well, if you can win, you might find yourself ranked. I'm talking to you, USC. Big one they have against Michigan. We'll get Howard Griffith takes on all of that. Their Big Ten Blitz tonight with our man Kim Cohen. And also in hour 2, the gang gets together. They give you their weekly picks. I will weigh in on that as well throughout the show. And, of course, we will talk a little Husker volleyball as we full plate for you tonight on Sports Night. Before we get into the matchup, Matt Rule speaking to the media earlier today. And I know these Thursday press conferences, the first thing you always want to know, is there anybody who's not making the trip? Is there anybody who is looking like it's going to be tough for them to not make it out there? And I think the answer to that, what we saw from Matt Rule, was Malcolm Hartzog, and not surprised by this, is most likely doubtful for that game. So what we're looking at is an opportunity to, see that secondary without Malcolm Hartzog, and understanding that he is in a position right now that he is going to continue to work to try to get back. He's missed quite a bit of time right now, but that secondary has been able to work a little bit around him. And that's going to be a big thing in this matchup. Again, that Nebraska secondary is going to have to be on point for Nebraska to be successful against a heavy passing attack from Maryland, a freshman quarterback, but one who has thrown at least one game over 50 attempts. He did so last week against Washington. So we will take a look at that part of this matchup as we talk about it later, but nothing on the injury front other than Malcolm Hartzog. So Nebraska, sans Malcolm Hartzog, pretty healthy going into this matchup in their first conference road game against the Terrapins. So that was good news. The other big takeaway today, and Matt Rule was asked about it, and that is the nor'easter that is going to be making its way on the East Coast. Little rain, little wind. They did practice with the wet footballs throughout the week in preparation for what could be a rainy afternoon in College Park, Maryland. So that is something that they are also at least preparing for, hoping that it cooperates. I was looking at the forecast earlier today, and it looks like there's a chance of rain in the afternoon, but it gets a little bit maybe more prevalent later in the evening. So maybe in the third or fourth quarter, it could be a little bit more of an impact than the start of the game. And I don't need to tell you folks how important it is for Nebraska to get out to a big start in this one, given what happened to Maryland a week ago. And I know Jessica and Kyle have talked about that a little bit throughout the week too, but you're a team like Maryland that was on the verge of being undefeated going into this game against Nebraska, up 20-0, and then they give up 24 unanswered to Washington. They lose that game. So what type of team is Nebraska going to face on the road? Is this going to be a team that has a sense of urgency, but also a team that if you can punch them in the mouth early, how do they respond? And this has been the Michael Locksley MO a little bit, is they've been good in non-conference play, but in conference play, that is where they have had some challenges, and they're trying to reverse that. They feel they got a great opportunity with Nebraska, but Nebraska also feeling like they've got a great opportunity to go on the road and try to get above 500 in conference play. So we will see. We're going to talk all about that and so much more. Going to take a quick break here. When I come back, Howard Griffith of the Big Ten Network joins me. We'll talk all things Big Ten slate this weekend and his thoughts on Nebraska, Maryland. That is all coming up as we get things rolling here on Sports Nightly.
Hey Huskers, what would you do with up to $75K to upgrade your irrigation game? Automate that tough corner of your farm, add remote monitoring, or finally swap out that old pivot? Valley Irrigation just kicked off a bold $100,000 grant backing growers with real plays. 2 big awards, 1 chance to turn your irrigation challenge into a game-winning drive. See the playbook at valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. Just log in and grab an instant $50 Valley Parts or Service voucher. Here's the snap, valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between September 8th and October 31st and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa football game on November 28th in Lincoln, plus a pregame tailgate experience. Don't miss your shot to be a part of the action. See True Turf and Ag in Osmond, Columbus, and Fall City or Osceola Implement to enter. It's easy, it's free, and you could be cheering on the Huskers in person this season. Go Big Red!
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board. The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful.
It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore-less corn and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Plug it in.
Whoever said work smarter, not harder, didn't realize you could do both.
Get 0.9% plus $3,250 cash on F-150 or lease F-150 for $499 a month and $0 down.
Welcome back, Sports Nightly here on a Thursday. Sports Nightly, of course, brought to you by Woodhouse. Been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Not only for Nebraska with their first Big Ten road slate of the conference season, but also a massive weekend in the Big Ten with some top 20 matchups, also some top 10 matchups as well. And excited to be talking about all of that with Big Ten Network and, of course, two-time Super Bowl champion, former Fighting Illini great Howard Griffith joining us from BTN. Howard, this is going to be a fun weekend, but we're just getting into conference play. How are you enjoying it so far?
Oh, I'm loving it because I've won every game. Every prediction's been right. I'm healthy, no problems. Everybody, I think, most people love me, so that should be a good thing. So there's nothing to complain about on my end.
Hey, I want to start with your alma mater in Illinois. This is a big, not that they haven't had a big test already this season. They took on Indiana. That obviously didn't go well, but this is an opportunity to see maybe what Brett Bielema and this team learned about themselves in that game against Indiana, now hosting Ohio State in a big spot. Big noon for this one, 17th ranked, still hanging with Illinois, going up against one of the very best teams in the defending national champion in Ohio State. What did you take away from that first real test against Indiana, and what you think they can apply in this matchup against the Buckeyes?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'd even go back a week before, 2 weeks before when they played Duke. Duke really dominated them early in that game, and Illinois was able to fight back because they were able to create some turnovers. And you can make the argument that Duke didn't play as well as it needed to in the second half. But then it was very clear against Indiana when you look at the way they played that wasn't good enough for as far as the really taking care of the quarterback and keeping them protected and upright and open up running lanes. Indiana just ultimately had their way with Illinois. And I think ultimately it was a big week for them. They bounced back versus USC, which was another really talented football team, and they were able to come out of that one with the victory. So, I think resilience is a big part of what they've learned since that Indiana game. They understand that, you have to go out and play. And I think one of the narratives coming into the season was everyone was heaping so much praise on this Illinois team because of the veterans that they had coming back. But I think sometimes, like anything, you start to believe the hype, and sometimes you need a wake up call. And without a doubt, that Indiana game was more than any kind of a wake up call that I know they were anticipating. But I think they've righted the ship now, and this is a huge challenge that they have coming up this weekend.
A game that might be a little bit overshadowed this weekend because it's not two ranked teams, but it's a team that if they pull off the win, meaning USC, most likely they're back in the top 25. But we saw Michigan and Lincoln not that long ago. I was really impressed with their defense. I think a lot of the questions going in was how would Bryce Underwood handle that environment in Lincoln. I thought he did a great job. Justice Haynes is fantastic. But that defense for Michigan, boy, it travels. They've got a big spot against USC. And I think after that loss to Oklahoma, it seemed like people were ready to dismiss Michigan. But they look like they've got a lot of those same principles that got them to where they were under Jim Harbaugh. What's your read on this Michigan team?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. This is a team that wants to run the football and be physical on defense. And really, as you mentioned, being able to take that defense on the road is a big part of their DNA and who they ultimately are. And yes, they've got a young quarterback, but they also want to, just kind of ease him in. He can make enormous plays at any particular point. But I think ultimately what they want to do is kind of just take their time with him, not put the game on his shoulders. And when you talk about doing it that way, that means you've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage and you've got to be able to run the ball, which they've been able to do. You couple that with defense and special teams, now you start to see the recipe, for success in what they're doing. We haven't mentioned Ohio State, but that's the way Ohio State is playing the game right now. As this offense continues to get better, Ohio State, as the quarterback, I should say, at Ohio State gets better, and the offense as well, you're starting to see the explosive plays. And I think ultimately that's where Michigan wants to get to. Donovan McCulley, I think, really stepped up last week and made a lot of plays for them. And I think if they can keep him going and keep feeding him the football, he's a tough cover for anyone that's out there. But ultimately, they want to run the ball, shorten the game, and be able to control the tempo and the pace of the game.
Well, you read my mind. That's where I wanted to go next, Ohio State. And I feel like it's easy to not talk about them as much when we're talking about all the other things in the Big Ten because they're one of the constants in the Big Ten. We know Ryan Day is going to have a championship caliber team. It seems like going into this year, this team was being overlooked by, say, Penn State in the preseason, and they weren't getting a lot of the cachet that you typically would coming off of a national championship season, but all they've done is look the part of a defending national champion. Right now, Howard, I feel like it's them and then maybe a little bit of a gap between the Oregons, the Indianas, the Michigans, the USC, whoever emerges from that one. Is that fair, just based on your assessment so far?
Yeah, I think you look at Ohio State, you look at Oregon, depending upon what day it is, but it's up to you. You can flip a coin to me at that point, but there's absolutely a gap after that. And that's why I say it's really right now after, coming into this week, it's a race for 3, 4, and 5. Who's going to be in that position? But to me, when you look at this Ohio State team, and listen, they lost both coordinators last year. Knowles went to Penn State, and you talk about Kelly going off to the NFL, new play callers on both sides. Ryan Day has still, to me, just looked so comfortable in who he is this year. And obviously winning a championship, that's a big part of it. But when you start to look at replacing a quarterback that had really played well for you and obviously went to a national championship, I think Sam has done a tremendous job really just doing what he's been asked to do. And now last week we really saw that offense explode with Carnell Tate really jumping onto the scene. And it's not that he hasn't been there, but he hasn't been asked to do a lot. And now they're spreading the football around and getting a really nice play from their offense. And they're finding, it looks like who's going to be their top runner this year is Bo Jackson, who really has emerged. And I think one of the things that all of their backs do, and really their team, just specifically talking about offense right now, they do a tremendous job of playing without the football. And really that comes down to understanding what your blocking assignments are. If people are bringing exotic blitzes, you're not so fast to try to get out into a route or do something else or turn your head the wrong way that you're not there helping and trying to make sure that the quarterback is protected. They're doing a tremendous job at that. And now all of a sudden, we saw last week just how explosive this offense can be. And then on the defensive side, people talk schemes, right? They talk schemes all the time. Well, this scheme, that scheme. When I look at this defense, to me, it's really about matchups. And to me, that's what the National Football League is all about, being able to put your key players in position to take advantage of, in this case, the offensive line or the backs of the tight ends. And when you look at Ohio State defensively, you look at their two linebackers. I mean, those guys can put their hand in the dirt. You can drop back into coverage. You don't know exactly where they're going to be. So when you start talking about from a blitz protection and which way you want to turn your protection, you're trying to identify who that Mike linebacker is, who the strong safety is going to be. You really don't know. You need to, instead of looking for body types, you almost just have to count the personnel. If you have 4 weak, if you have 3 strong, whatever it's going to be, you need to really be dialed in, because they're so talented. They're putting guys all over the place, showing you so many looks. And then it only takes a second. You may recognize it, but you're a second late or a beat late, and they get to the quarterback. And they've really played well. And this has been a fun team to this point to really watch, because the schemes that they're running and the matchups that they're creating on the defensive side really are playing into what's making this team so good. And you look at Ryan Day, the way he's kind of handling this and leading his team. He knows he has a strong defense and a strong special teams, and the offense is coming along. So he's playing to his strong suit. So it's going to be an interesting second half of the Big Ten season, as it looks like Ohio State and Oregon, at least this week, may be heading into a collision course.
Before we let you go, I do want to ask you about Nebraska, Maryland, 2 4-1 teams.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how Maryland responds after being 20 up on Washington and then having 24 unanswered scored against them. Nebraska was in a bad way in the third quarter. Big throw by Dylan Raiola kind of turned that game on its head as well. But you were here in the fall. You had a chance to see this Nebraska team work out. And I remember you talking a lot about some of the things you liked about them. Now you've seen some games with them as well. Kind of a similar question I asked you about Indiana. Where do you think this Nebraska ceiling can be, and just your thoughts on this matchup out there in College Park, Maryland?
Yeah, I think if we start with your last question, with this matchup, looks like you look at two teams really, as you mentioned, were struggling and found ways to win. If we look at Maryland just for a minute, jumping out to a huge lead and really control the game, and all of a sudden they got to the fourth quarter and, what happened? It looked like a different team. So they have to get over the hump. And one of the things that for Maryland, they've been trying to do is it's been about conference play. They've really struggled in conference play, particularly early, and they haven't been able to close the deal. What was encouraging is the way they were playing for 3 quarters. They did an unbelievable job last week on the defensive side. Offensively, they were making plays as well. But I thought defensively is where they stood up, because I thought that was where, they had a big area to continue to grow at. So, they still haven't closed the gap, but I think they've gotten closer. And then you look at Nebraska kind of in the same mode. It's about being as consistent as you can be, from putting 4 quarters together. Coaches talk about it all day long. We got to put 4 quarters together. And yes, there's going to be some turmoil. There's going to be some issues in the game that you're going to have to overcome, but you have to be able to settle down and be able to get there. And I really, to me, like both of these teams, and I think it'll be a great matchup. To me, this will tell us about really both programs and who's ready to take that next step. And I think it's an important step for both programs as they try to get, because I have them clearly in the middle pack. So can you start to make a move for the upper middle? Because the middle is huge, and we've already discussed what the very top looks like, those 2 teams, and then right after that. But it's about being able to climb your way into it so that you can get to not only get bowl eligible, but get to a great bowl that you can be proud of and continue to build on.
Still liking what you've seen from Dylan Raiola, even with some of the ebbs and flows in some of those games. We saw kind of the good and the bad, but also making that play there in the third. What have you seen in that just sophomore maturation from a year ago?
I mean, you see the growth, you see just the physical talent that he has, obviously has been there, but it's also a lot more under control. I think sometimes there might be a little bit of a lull. There's sometimes you can see him with the football in his hands, and it doesn't seem like he's really protecting it all that well, and maybe putting the ball out in harm's way. But I think that's just a part of it. And I think one of the challenges, and we're seeing this throughout the conference, these young players that are so talented, and we'll see it again this week, but they also sometimes put so much pressure on themselves to make plays that they all of a sudden are making bad plays. So you might want to just throw the ball away or slide and not try to necessarily get the extra yards that Washington will happen sometime with Maryland's quarterback. You got to just be consistent and be able to play another down and not be able to put the ball in harm's way. But they're just so talented. You don't want to put the shackles on them, but they've got to really be able to take care of the football and understand it, as most people will tell you, the ball's the program, that old coach speak. But I think his abilities, they're undeniable. He just has to stay consistent, and not when he's gonna have a dip, it can't be so extreme that all of a sudden the offense now is in jeopardy. And now when you look at it, defense can be playing really well, and all of a sudden they're spending too much time out on the field. So it's really about, just playing complementary football, and those talented big plays that we know and we've seen happen, they're going to continue to happen. We'll see them. Just minimizing the downside, to me, is what you have to do if you're Dylan Raiola.
He's Howard Griffith. Going to be a great day in studio on Saturday with all of the great Big Ten games. And, of course, you see him throughout the week on the Big Ten Network as well. Howard, thank you for being so generous with your time with us. Really appreciate all the work you do. One of the very best to do it. Always great when we can talk and catch up. And, hey, enjoy this Saturday Big Ten football. Going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, I will, and you do the same. And, hey, I look forward to coming back on it. Let's see if the things that I'm saying are accurate, or at least close.
We're keeping score, so we'll let you know.
All right. I'm sure you will. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Howard. Coming back, we're going to be talking more about some of the Big Ten matchups that Howard brought up there as we continue Hour 1 of Sports Nightly. Don't go anywhere.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle. Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3, Wildcat!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
See Shelter Agent John Austin in Fairbury, Rhonda Miller in Alliance, or Stephanie Culver in Holdridge today.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Here at Boot Barn, our objective is to build the perfect boot. We do take our time ensuring that every step is done correctly. For a boot to last you for a lifetime, you've got to properly build the boots. Hand craftsmanship is, in my opinion, the only way you're going to achieve that. We handcraft our boots. 160 people take a boot from start to finish. We have skilled artisans at every stage of the game. We've been handcrafting boots since the beginning here at Boot Barn, and we'll continue to do so.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Welcome back to the Akrs Broadcast Center. I'm Bobby Hessling, and this is the Big Ten Blitz presented by Groundworks, the official foundation company of the Huskers.
This is the Big Ten Blitz.
Here to talk Indiana is Zach Osterman from the Indianapolis Stars. Zach, Indiana, another difficult road test this week at Eugene. How do the Hoosiers keep going with momentum post the bye week off the win against Iowa on the road?
You know, when Indiana got to these stages last year at Ohio State, at Notre Dame, obviously, kind of found themselves coming up short. Curt Cignetti said on Monday, he said, a lot of the focus was on the line of scrimmage in those games, but he wasn't really sure there was a position group anywhere on the field where Indiana kind of won the battle that it needed to against the Buckeyes or the Fighting Irish. Now, Indiana's kind of put itself in a position to be tested again. Of course, going to Oregon for what stands as one of the most important Big Ten games of the year. I think that maybe the difference for Indiana, a couple of differences. I think number one, obviously, the Hoosiers are going to be comfortable in this environment. This isn't new. This will be the fifth time in the last calendar year Indiana plays a game between two ranked teams. It had not happened for a generation, even once for Indiana. This will be the third all top 10 game Indiana's played in the last year. There is a lot more maybe comfort on this stage. And I think the other thing for Indiana is, unlike last season, there's probably not a lot of pressure. Indiana can lose this game, especially given what else has gone on around college football so far this season. Indiana can lose this game and be fine from a playoff perspective. And so I think Indiana gets to go to Eugene, a little bit loose, a little bit free, and it gets to see how it matches up against, quite possibly Ohio State. We'll have something to say about this too, but quite possibly the best team in the conference.
What are some of the keys for Indiana to walk out with a win in this game?
There's probably not a spot on the field where Oregon doesn't present some problems. Because of the resources available, they're one of the few programs in the country that maybe is a little bit more sort of firewalled against the inability to collect quality depth in the portal
and rev share era. In a lot of cases, their twos are not as far off of their ones as a lot of other teams. I think there are still some spots, Oregon's receivers could probably, stand to improve a little bit. I would imagine that's been a bye-week focus for Dan Lanning. I think if you're Indiana, you believe in your pass rush against anybody. Indiana has, I believe, still the most tackles for loss. But this is going to be a challenge physically, athletically. This is one of, Indiana deserves credit for the way it beat Illinois, deserves credit for sweating out a tough road environment at Kinnick. But this is one of two teams, and maybe given what we've seen across the last 2 weeks, maybe just one teams that Indiana is going to play in the regular season that recruits at a demonstrably higher athletic level than Indiana does. The other would obviously be Penn State, but we have questions of a very different sort now about the Nittany Lions. It is going to be a significant challenge. Autzen Stadium is clearly a very difficult place to play. I believe Dan Lanning's only lost there once. You could go on for a really long time about all the different things that are going to challenge Indiana out of this weekend. But at the same time, I think what Kurt Cignetti and his players and his coaches and his staff would tell you is if you don't want that challenge, then this isn't the place for you, because Indiana certainly embraces trying to find ways to win games like this.
Zach, thank you for joining us. Indiana and Oregon play at 2:30 today on CBS. Now Bella Pitts, who has USC.
Thanks, Bobby. Here to talk about the Trojans is Scott Schrader from WeAreSC.com. The team's last game was against the Fighting Illini with a loss 34-32. Tell me how you felt that game unfolded for you guys.
The game unfolded. It was a very eye-opening game from my perspective. In that the one part of the USC defense that looked like it was going to had been consistently good and anticipated it being good going forward after the first 4 games was the defensive line, and the amount of pressure that the USC defensive line was able to get was almost zero against Illinois. The only sack they had was a corner blitz, and I think they were leading the nation in sacks after the first 4 games, or they were right there in the top 3 anyways. So it was an expected performance in that I thought it would be a close game, but the USC defense performed at a far worse level than I expected.
In the game versus Michigan this weekend, who do you think we should be looking out for?
Yeah, I would say that the defensive line is not anybody in particular. I just think the entire defensive line is something to keep a close look at for USC fans. And early in the game, because Michigan's got some big dudes. Everybody in the Big Ten does, but Michigan just kind of crushed USC last year with the running game. I don't know how many yards they ended up having, but I know that they had a couple of runs that were in the 80+ yard range, and so USC kind of had stuff like that happening against Illinois, where the running backs were gaining 5+ yards a carry. So if the defensive line is not stopping the run or containing Bryce Underwood, I think those are going to be key indicators that it might be a long day for USC. So nobody in particular that I'm looking for. The offense has performed really well. I think that Jaden Mayavis answered all the questions at quarterback that we had. So it's all going to come down to the defensive line and to see if USC gets a couple of guys back in the secondary as well, which will help tremendously.
Thank you so much, Scott, for your time today.
Yep, got it.
Michigan and USC will face off Saturday at 6:30 on NBC. Now let's send it over to Camden Cohn with Purdue.
Thanks, Bella. Here to talk about the Boilermakers is Mike Carmen from goldandblack.com. Well, Mike, Purdue is coming off a 43-27 loss to Illinois last week. The Boilermakers got on the board first, but the Illini answered back with a flurry of points to take a pretty comfortable lead. What were some of your takeaways from that game?
Well, just that there were 2 kind of big turnovers for Purdue. They had a fumble when they had 7-3 early in the second quarter. They were driving. They were in Illinois territory. And then from that point on, Illinois controlled the game. They scored 27 points in the second quarter. They were able to maintain a double-digit lead, and then a punt fumble later in the game where after Purdue had made up some ground. And those two plays kind of define the game, along with the numerous big plays through the passing game that Purdue gave up. That's something that they have to get fixed. They're getting riddled in the secondary by really good quarterbacks, and they face another one this week with Drake Lindsey from Minnesota. So they've got to shore that up to give themselves a chance.
Purdue is 2-3 overall and still looking for their first conference win of the season. How would you assess the Boilermakers' play through 5 games?
Well, I think you break their season up into 2 parts. The first 2 games, Ball State and Southern Illinois, 2 games that they won, 2 games they needed to win, 2 games they should have won, and they did some good things in those games. But since then, the schedule has ramped up, which, that's what the new Big Ten is about. USC, Notre Dame, and then Illinois. They competed. They were kind of in the games for a period of time, but at the end of the day, they don't have the talent, the depth to match up with those kind of teams. Now, they kind of dropped down in class a little bit. They're not facing the elite of the league or a Notre Dame team, where you've got Minnesota, Northwestern, and Rutgers coming up the next 3 weeks. Let's see, how they manage these 3 games, and if they can get another win or 2 before they hit a very grueling November stretch. But they're competing. This is a different team than it was last year. They're definitely more watchable than they were last year. So I think that there's steps being made. There's progress being made. It may not just show up in the win column this year. Well, this week Purdue hits the road to take on Minnesota under the lights. How do you see this game playing out, Mike? Well, they've got to minimize the big plays on defense. Drake Lindsey may not be a household name from a quarterback perspective, but he's a solid guy. A couple weeks ago, now, he didn't have the greatest game against Ohio State, but who does? So I'm not sure that's a fair measurement of what Purdue will see. A couple weeks ago against Rutgers, he was 31 of 41 for 324 yards. So it's somewhere between what happened against Ohio State and Rutgers. Somewhere in the middle there is probably the performance you'll see. Minnesota traditionally has been a physical running team, and that has caused Purdue problems over the years. But Purdue's got to find its run game between the tackles like it did last week against Illinois, and then make some plays in the passing game. They missed some opportunities last week with some drop passes or the quarterback just not being on target. They've got to fix that and figure out a way to get in the end zone, and maybe get in the end zone early so they can kind of dictate play a little bit. Purdue and Minnesota will kick off Saturday at 6:30 on the Big Ten Network. Thanks for your time, Mike. Thank you. This has been the Big Ten Blitz, presented by Groundworks. My thanks to Bobby Hessling and Bella Pitts for their help, and Zach Osterman, Scott Schrader, and Mike Carmen for joining us. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. More Sports Nightly coming up after this.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Hey Husker fans, every grower's got that game-winning play. Maybe it's upgrading that old pivot, switching up the play with smart tech, or controlling water like a pro. Valley Irrigation's putting $100,000 on the line to back 2 growers ready to score big. This is your chance to get that $75K or $25K irrigation grant, plus a $50 parts or service voucher just for logging in. Don't sit on the sidelines. Visit valleyirrigation.com/Huskers. That's valleyirrigation.com/Huskers.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
A little more slack. Plug it in.
Whoever said work smarter, not harder, didn't realize you could do both.
Get 0.9% plus $3,250 cash on F-150 or lease F-150 for $499 a month and $0 down.
Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. So while we had the Big Ten Blitz going on and I was having a conversation with Howard Griffith, big news just coming over involving Nebraska Athletics and, more importantly, Memorial Stadium, and that is the Savannah Bananas. In fact, the team that our very own Kyle Perry was a part of this last year. Obviously, you know about the Savannah Bananas. There was talk, and Troy Dannon actually started with a tweet between Troy Dannon and Kyle Perry last year. As you've seen a lot of the bigger venues, we saw it in Clemson last year. The Savannah Bananas have been taking that show on the road, both in big league ballparks and in college football stadiums. Well, we can officially say June 13th, mark your calendars, the Savannah Bananas are going to be playing the Firefighters at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, that is awesome. I want to be a part of that, but I know a lot of people, probably to the tune of more than 90,000 people, would like to be a part of that. Well, there is a ticket lottery, so I'm going to read this release. Just came over from the university. I'll give you Troy Dannon's statement as well, but wanted to let you know about tickets and how you can get involved in the tickets for the Savannah Bananas at Memorial Stadium on June 13th. There is a ticket lottery, and you got to join this ticket lottery by October 31st. Joining the list doesn't guarantee the opportunity to buy tickets, but a random drawing will take place before the event for the chance to purchase available tickets. If you're drawn, you'll have an opportunity to continue through the verification process. The lottery list can be found at bananaball.com/tickets. And I know there'll be more information coming your way from the university between now and the 31st to remind folks to, if you want to get tickets to that you've got to be a part of that lottery. You've got to be put into the lottery by Halloween, by October 31st. And if you're wondering how much tickets are, they range from $40, starting at $40. And then they do have some meet and greet tickets that start around $125. Bananas are they're the only ones that are going to sell tickets through their official lottery on fansfirsttickets.com. Any tickets for sale outside of the platform, as they say, are likely fraudulent. So this is kind of a different ticketing system than you're probably used to. I remember when Kyle Perry had just joined the Savannah Bananas, and I was excited about that. I immediately got some weird message from it was obviously a bot saying that they had tickets to any Savannah Banana game to get in contact with them, and they would hook me up with tickets. That was clearly a bot. So be careful about those things. But as the Savannah Bananas do a very unique way to kind of reach out to their fans, making sure that if you want a chance to go to the game, you can be a part of their lottery. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to go if you are lucky enough to have your name chosen in the lottery. But again, June 13th, that is when the Savannah Bananas come to Memorial Stadium against the firefighters. I just told my son the news. He is excited. I think he's already put on his Savannah Banana shirt. And he's between now and June 13th, that's going to be a very long time for him to wait. But this is a really, really cool thing. Of course, we've seen what Nebraska was able to do with volleyball day in the state, volleyball day in Nebraska. That was a monster. And knowing that this is a push by the athletic department to utilize Memorial Stadium for things outside of Husker athletics. There's been talk about a potential Terrence Bud Crawford fight. Maybe his very last one could potentially take place. Haven't heard anything about that, but I know that's been floated out there. So there's a lot of outside Husker athletic events that are being now very attractive to that venue, knowing how much Husker fans show up. Of course, we saw the Garth Brooks concert as well. I did want to mention the Troy Dannon statement on this announcement. He says, quote, "This is an exciting day for Nebraska athletics in the city of Lincoln. Since we have begun pursuit of large stadium type shows for Memorial Stadium, the Savannah Bananas have been consistently mentioned as an event Nebraskans were excited to see in person. This will be a great event for families to enjoy as summer 2026 kicks off in Lincoln." So again, the Savannah Bananas making their way to Lincoln. I have, by the way, reached out to Kyle Perry. We're hoping that he might join the show before we get out of here. I know with this exciting announcement, I'm sure his phone is off the hook. And I know there's still reshuffling sometimes of players with different teams. Could Kyle be in a different uniform? We'll see. But obviously that was the first major connection to Nebraska athletics and a Nebraska student athlete being with Banana Ball. And I know he has been one of the great ambassadors of Banana Ball and also proudly representing Nebraska athletics. So very, very cool. And so that is something that is, again, we knew was being talked about and was potentially close to becoming a reality. They will also be in stadiums like Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. They'll be at Kyle Field in College Station, going all around not only the NFL venues, but also MLB venues, of course, with baseball, but college football stadiums as well, because they are, quite frankly, selling those things out. They are that popular. It is quite a sight to see. Coming up in hour number 2 of Sports Nightly, got a lot to get to. Going to talk some of the storylines of this Nebraska-Maryland game. There's a lot to sink your teeth into between two 4-1 teams going into this game a little bit differently. Nebraska on the verge of possibly having a disappointment against Michigan State until Dylan Raiola stepped up and made a huge throw that turned that game on its head. But also Maryland felt like they had a win locked in against Washington, and then it was 24 unanswered, put up by the Huskies, had Maryland scratching their head, trying to figure out what the heck happened. So who will that play a bigger impact for in this matchup on how those games wrapped up? We'll get into that. We also got the original crew. We've got the big dog. We've got voice of Husker football Kyle Crooks, Jessica Coody, and Josh Hilkeman and the entire gang to give you their picks coming up. I'll weigh in on mine a little bit later on, as well as hour 2 of Sports Nightly is coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed Enlist corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore Enlist corn. And other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Preparation
is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Good evening, I'm Esteban Quintero, and our sports sticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. The Nebraska soccer team returns home to take on the Purdue Boilermakers and Maryland Terrapins at Hivner Stadium. The Huskers match against Purdue is just getting underway tonight, and the NU's game against Maryland on Sunday, October 12th, will kick off at 1:05. Both games will be streamed on Big Ten Plus, and fans can purchase tickets at huskers.com/tickets. In NFL news, the Philadelphia Eagles are set to face the New York Giants very soon here at 7:15 at MetLife Stadium. You can watch that game on Amazon Prime. Over in Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies are squaring off against the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. The Phillies are currently up 1-0 in the 7th. The Dodgers lead that best-of-5 series 2-1. And later tonight, it's the Milwaukee Brewers visiting Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field. First pitch is set for 8 o'clock. The Brewers lead the series 2-1. Our sports sticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Well, Eckley is inside his own 15. Barney at the Husker 30. Snap back to Eckley. It's blocked. Con blocked it. It's picked up. Carter Nelson. Touchdown Huskers. They came right at it. Nelson picked it up. 13-0 Scarlet and the Cream. Keelan Smith, the motion man from left to right. Snap, quick screen near left, leaping catch from Hunter, leaks through, breaks an ankle tackle. There he goes, Hunter 40, 35-30. Hunter all the way. That just might be your dagger.
Back right swing by Kennedy Martin, dug by Bergen. She can do it all. 23-13 Huskers right side swing. Virginia Adriano. Kaboom! Putting dents in the rec hall deck. It's 24-13.
Now, here is your host, Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Hour 2 underway here, Sports Nightly on a Thursday. Our last full show of the week. 1 hour tomorrow from 6 to 7 before we turn you over to Husker Volleyball as they will host Washington. Pregame coverage on the Huskers Radio Network at 7. First serve at 8 p.m. That's tomorrow night between Nebraska and Washington. Kyle and Jessica are, in fact, just got confirmation they landed in the College Park, Maryland area. I believe they're not actually in right there by campus. I think just outside, maybe in kind of near the Bethesda area. But Huskers landing safely in preparation for Saturday afternoon's Maryland-Nebraska tilt. 2 4-1 teams. Looking forward to that. Going to talk about the storylines alongside our producers, Camden Cohn and Esteban Quintero. Nick Hanley, appreciate you guys being with us here on Sports Nightly on a night that some news dropped. If you're just joining us, getting in your car, maybe you had a little bit of a later work shift, or you're just out and about with the family or by yourself, whatever, and listen to us wherever you catch Huskers Radio Network coverage or Sports Nightly. The Savannah, I don't know why I'm having the worst time saying that. Savannah Bananas. There you go. Banana Ball is coming to Lincoln on June 13th. That's right. Banana Ball, which has just been one of the fastest growing, not only sports odysseys, but really entertainment. It's been fantastic. It has been just an absolute rocket of popularity and all encompassing with all types of fans, but especially the kids. But the Savannah, I keep wanting to say Savannah Bananas will be taking on the Firefighters. That'll be on June 13th. A lottery system. It's very easy to do. In fact, I did so during the commercial break. It took me literally 30 seconds. Go to bananaball.com/tickets. You need to get into the lottery by October 31st, and then they will draw names for tickets, and then you will proceed from there. Tickets start as low as $40 per ticket, which is not bad at all. But that will be at Memorial Stadium on June 13th. Banana Ball coming to the state of Nebraska. Very cool to see that. We will have our full panel of picks. They were so kind to do that before they got on the airplane today. So Jess and Kyle, the big dog Jeremiah Searles, and the entire production crew, all part of the picks. I'm happy to say last week was my best week. I went 8-2. So I'm looking to capitalize off of what has been, for the most part, a pretty bad year when it comes to my picks. But hey, that's why you got to take the big W that I had last week, and you got to try to roll with that momentum, just like Nebraska will try to do against Maryland. And speaking of which, wanted to get into this game because this game is obviously important for both teams. And if you missed my conversation with Howard Griffith of the Big Ten Network, he had mentioned a couple of times that you're not just looking for these two programs for Maryland and Nebraska. You're not just looking to get bowl eligible and then just sort of let your hair down and be okay with that. You're looking for an opportunity to elevate that overall bowl experience. You're looking to find the upper echelon bowl. And I don't think anybody's really talking about either one of these teams as that dark horse potential college football playoff team, one of those, third or potentially fourth team out of the Big Ten that could find its way into the college football playoff. You're not worried about that right now. I think right now, I would totally agree with Howard Griffith. You're looking to emerge out of that really heavy middle of the conference that I think both of these teams clearly reside in. But as I mentioned, as we wrapped up hour number one, this is going to be really interesting as far as the overall mindset of these teams as the game wears on, because you would go back a week ago and that fast start, and you heard it there in the open, the highlights there with voice of Husker football Kyle Crooks on the punt block, on the Isaiah Hunter long touchdown reception that really sealed the game. But that was, there were some big plays in this game. Nebraska getting out to that 14-0 lead. But then all of a sudden you look at that scoreboard and it's tied up. Then Michigan State ends up taking a lead, and you see a couple of stagnant offensive drives for Nebraska, a couple of boos going on throughout the stadium, frustration setting in. You felt like, oh my goodness, we've seen this before, right? We've seen Nebraska take control of a game and then all of a sudden give up that lead. Another team punches you back. Now they have the lead. Does Nebraska have any type of counter? And unfortunately, in previous years, that answer had been no. And when all things look kind of bleak, the guy that you expect so much out of, that had been having a real tough go of things, was getting knocked down, was off target with some of his passes. There was a lot of things that was really working against this offense. All of a sudden, with the wind in his face, steps up in the pocket, is able to extend it just enough and just throw an absolute missile to Ja'Cory Marney, what turned out to be a game changer. You heard Matt Rule talk about it. You heard Dana Holgerson talk about it. Even John Butler referred to this on Tuesday as an absolute sideline lifter. Kind of paraphrasing there, but they just talked about the tone of the sideline, how it completely changed. And just one flick of the wrist, one strong, accurate throw from what is an exceptional talent at quarterback. It was now that situation where Nebraska was able to do something to find a way to win a game, as opposed to being up by 14, losing the lead, and finding ways to lose games. And so you look at Nebraska right now, 2 games, Cincinnati and Michigan State, where they have now found ways to win games. They have made plays in crunch time to actually come out on top, as opposed to not making those plays or letting other teams make those plays, and they're unable to respond to it. So Nebraska's got to be going on the road, in my opinion, feeling very good about what they were able to do in closing that game out. And now I would think breathing kind of a big sigh of relief, but also being able to use that tape, what they saw. I thought Michigan was a very important tape for this team to take a look at, maybe take an extended look at during the bye week. I think this Michigan State tape is also going to be extremely beneficial for this team to take it, to process it, and to learn from things that took place in that game. So that's where Nebraska, in my opinion, is going into College Park, Maryland. Now you look at Maryland. They were cruising They're up 20-0 against a respectful Washington team. And they're looking to have Nebraska coming into College Park, Maryland, undefeated. And then all of a sudden, a disastrous fourth quarter and late second half where they not only don't put up another point, but they allow Washington to crawl all the way back, score 24 unanswered, and all of a sudden they've got their hands out of the side saying, what the hell happened? And so is this a fragile team? Because if you remember, go back to Big Ten Media Days. This was a Michael Locksley address to the media, spending a lot of time talking about the culture of this team and how the way that they handled NIL a year ago and certain players that were maybe making more money than other players, that became a big distraction. That became maybe even a point of resentment among them. It was just a bad vibe, as Michael Locksley described. And so they've put up different signs outside the locker room about, you know, how you leave your car keys and all these other things outside and you come here to work. And that's great, especially when you're winning football games. But the MO and really the reputation, whether it's fair or not, around Michael Locksley's program has been, well, the way that they've scheduled a non-conference, they've got off to really good starts. They put up some amazing numbers. And then when the schedule toughens up, mainly in conference play, that's where it's gotten the better of them. So I think this is a good Maryland team. I truly do. I think this is a Maryland team, though, is going to be coming into this game one of two ways. Either they're still kind of shell-shocked of what happened against Washington, or they're going to come out with their hair on fire, a sense of urgency, and really look to lay out somebody. And I would think it would be the latter. But what happens if Nebraska absorbs their best punch? I know I'm using a lot of boxing references here, but what if Nebraska absorbs their best punch, is able to throw a couple of their own? How will Maryland respond? That, to me, is a huge question. I'm not sure where Maryland is after losing a game like that. And for Nebraska, yeah, obviously that's a huge win, but there were problems in that game. Offensive consistency, to me, is going to be a big deal in this game. This isn't a Nebraska team that needs to go in and score 45 points, but this is a team that really, you could talk about the middle eights, but in my opinion, the middle quarters in the second and third, this offense needs to move the ball. This offense needs to help this defense out. If drives are not being finished in the end zone, at the very least, allow special teams to play that field position. Nebraska offensively, and their average starting field position was fantastic. You couldn't ask for something better, but you got to make something out of that. And so for me, I'm looking for this offensive consistency. Now, one of the things I think is going to be a major, major factor is what Maryland can do in getting pressure on the quarterback, because where Maryland's a little different this year in defenses of past teams under Michael Locksley is when they have had to get pressure on the quarterback, they've really had to be creative with sending extra guys other than their down linemen. Well, they've got guys that can get to the quarterback between Zaire Mathis, Trey Reddick, and Sidney Stewart. Those guys are tough. And so what we've seen in Nebraska allowing 3 sacks per game, Nebraska obviously has to be much better in that department. Now, as Matt Rule and Dana Holgerson have talked about, that's not all on the offensive line. It's not all on Dylan Raiola either. It's a kind of everybody, all 11 on the field responsibility there. But you cannot have, especially early in this game where I think Maryland is really going to be a little desperate, that if they're able to get some early success in getting to Dylan Raiola, getting him off time and off target, that could be a problem. To see the consistency of this offense step it up a bit, I think is going to be paramount in this game for this offense. Again, I don't think it's a Nebraska offense that needs to be over 450 or 400 yards, but you just got to be efficient, got to be on the field. So to me, that's a huge storyline in this game. Another part of this one is looking at special teams for Nebraska, and I kind of alluded to it there. And Nebraska being able to get themselves in favorable field positions because you're getting either solid returns in the punt return game. You're allowing Archie Wilson, even though he had the one shank. Obviously, the wind was a problem, and it could be a factor. That nor'easter that everyone's talking about could have some rain, could have a little bit of wind. But trusting the special teams that has had an impact in just about every game this season, between the return game, between the place kicking, between being able to get the makeable field goals to try to get something out of drives, I think, again, can they have a major impact on this game? Well, we see, we pretty much should have seen a house call, which Corey Barney, there was a hold. Didn't agree with it, but that's okay. But you can see that explosiveness, and you can see the way that teams now have to kick to Nebraska. They have to be very careful. And a lot of times when teams are so focused on not kicking in a certain spot, that's where you see mistakes happen. So it could just be the threat of the big play in the return game that could lead to some mistakes on Maryland's side of it. But either way, can Nebraska's special teams have another major impact in this game? Because when you think about, John Butler talked about, you got to pack a defense on the road. And that's true. This defense has to show up, and we'll get to that here in a moment. But special teams is another one of those elements that can travel. And special teams in conference games, especially ones on the road, that it could be razor thin. It could come down to just one special teams miscue or one big special teams play, one way or the other. So do we see that from Nebraska, and can they continue that upward trajectory with their special teams play? Now, getting to Nebraska's defense, this is a Maryland team that does not run the football. It's a Maryland team that needs to, if they want to negate one of Nebraska's biggest strengths, and that is their secondary. But I think there's going to be a emphasis on at least trying to. Michael Locksley himself even said, because he was asked about Nebraska's secondary being such a strength of that group, and he said, but you know what? Do they stop the run as well? And so he hinted that they need to run the football. Now, when you think of Malik Washington, there's a big difference between Malik Washington and some of the, I guess we can label dual threat quarterbacks that Nebraska has faced. Aiden Childs, if he's flushed out, he'll extend plays and he'll run. Same thing we saw with Bryce Underwood. Very similar to Brendan Sorsby. Sorsby's one look, if it ain't there, he's taken off. And why not? He's good at doing it. What you're going to see from Malik Washington, I mean, this is 6'5", 230, built very similar to Bryce Underwood. He's a very similar player like Bryce Underwood, but he doesn't want to run. If he gets out of the pocket or if he has to make a guy miss, he's still extending himself to continue to look downfield. So Nebraska can ill afford to allow that to happen, can ill afford to allow those guys to start running wild. And I think that's going to be a big part of this as well, is can Nebraska contain and not allow him to get comfortable, getting at his feet, and then maybe the secondary has a big game. So some big storylines to take a look at, and we'll see how it all plays out. We'll want to get to the picks coming up next, and we'll do so with the entire crew as we continue here on Sports Nightly.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The color red means something to us. It means tough, ready, and powerful. It means our standards are high, and we expect the highest level of performance on and in the field. So while the Huskers are getting it done on the football field, you can count on Massey Ferguson tractors to get it done in your field. With its seamless CVT transmission and efficient AGCO-powered engine, you'll keep charging down the field all season long. Check out the full line of Massey Ferguson equipment at Osceola Implement in Osceola and True Ag and Turf in Falls City, Columbus, and Osmond.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Reliable energy service wherever you need it. Whether it's propane, fuels, or lubricants, Central Valley Ag delivers with reliability and care you can count on. From your farm to your home or your business, CVA Energy is your trusted partner for agricultural, commercial, and residential energy solutions. Details at cvacoop.com. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs.
Oh, come on. Akrs!
The Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more.
Akrs!
Solutions for every field. I almost botched it, but we got it.
You know, steal my moment.
I know. Your shining moment every single week.
Step on my moment.
Well, you know what that means. It is time for our weekly picks as the big dog Jeremiah Searles joins us. Camden Cohn, Josh Hokelman, and Kyle Crooks. So it is time for our Choices Treatment Center college football picks. And listen, last week I was talking a lot of trash about how I never lose, and then I ended up being the loser of the week. Go me.
Hate to see it. You hate
Go
to see
me.
It,
Josh, wow, what a performance by you.
3 in a row. 3 weeks.
Unbelievable. I mean, he's 18 over 500 right now.
For as much as we were giving him a hard time about, staying at the bottom, you were very up and down. You're kind of running away with this thing.
Oh, well, Camden's only 1 game back. He's
not
just
running away.
Sliding
Camden's
through here.
16 over. And then the rest of us are oof.
So Josh goes 10-1, Camden 9-2, Nick 8-3, Kyle, Searles, and the intern 7-4. I go 6-5. So overall, Josh 44-26, Camden 43-27. Interns 40-30. I'm 39-31. Nick's 37-33. Searles 36-34, and Kyle still at the bottom, 35-35.
Hey, you're not below 500.
Yes, I am at 500. This is where it starts. The slow climb begins.
Yeah,
well,
like the Chiefs.
What'd we think of the last week? Kyle, the 1 week he didn't pick Florida, they get a win.
Yeah, I think it's no coincidence either. Credit to them. Look, DJ Lagway's starting to figure it out a little bit. I think Texas has a lot of issues. Arch Manning is just not what we thought he would be. Maybe that changes this week against Oklahoma. He has a chance to make a big statement, but credit to Florida. They got out to a big lead. They get Dallas Wilson back, who's one of the best young receivers in the country, and their schedule doesn't get much easier either. They head to Texas A&M. So if they could win this week, I think all of a sudden there's a much different narrative around them.
Searles, we were joking. We all picked.
Okay, you know what?
We all picked Florida, but we were like, hey, we'll gladly, if Texas ends up losing, that's not really a loss.
No, yeah, I feel for Arch Manning a little bit. He's going through it right now, but when expectations are as high as they are going into this year, unrightfully so for me, he only started a few games, and you're talking about him winning the Heisman and being the #1 overall draft pick. Unless he just came out and lit the world on fire, he was in trouble. But he's got to get back to fundamentals, get back to basics, and just kind of get back to playing ball. The game that was all over the place for me last week was the Washington-Maryland game.
Yeah.
Like I thought Maryland had that game in hand. They were handling things, doing well, and then Washington figured out, hey, if we can get to this quarterback's feet and get him off his spot, he's not going to be able to dice us up as much. So good, congrats to Washington there, but I really thought Maryland had that game last week.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move forward and start with this week's picks. And Josh was the weekly winner, so he gets to pick first. He has the honor of picking first this week. So we start with the top 25 matchup in the SEC. Number 8, Alabama at number 14, Missouri, 11 a.m. on ABC. Bama, 2.5-point favorite. Josh.
Yeah, we were talking about this game a little bit before we jumped on live, and I'm not quite sold on Missouri. They are undefeated. I am on board the Tide train right now. I think that they've kind of figured it out after that debacle in their opening game. So give me Alabama in this one.
I also am with Bama. I really wanted to take Missouri at home. I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers won, but I feel like Bama's figured some things out, got some momentum going into this, and I feel like we used to say this, what you said about Georgia, Kyle. You don't bet against Georgia. There used to be a don't bet against Bama. I still think I have that in my mind, and so I'm going to roll with Bama in this one. Camden?
Yep, I got Bama.
Missouri is a really tricky place to play in the SEC, but give me Alabama. I think Ty Simpson is somebody that we'll be talking about even more after this week.
Searles?
Yeah, I'll take Bama here as well, mostly just because Alabama's battle-tested. Missouri really hasn't played anyone yet. Like, you look at their schedule.
UMass.
Yeah, I mean, UMass, the rising tide in the East, right? But I think, you look at Bama, they've been battle-tested. You've got Georgia, you've got Vanderbilt, you've got a really good Florida State team now. I think they just have too much of the battle-testedness to go in there on the road against a team that hasn't really figured out who they are yet because they haven't played anyone.
All right, a top 10 matchup in the Big Ten, 2:30 on CBS. Number 7, Indiana at number 3, Oregon. Oregon is a 7.5-point favorite, and I, again, really wanted to think about picking Indiana, but I'm not going to. Oregon's really solid and at home, so give me the Ducks. Camden?
Yep. I thought about Indiana, but I'm going to stick with what seems like safe bet, and I'll pick Oregon.
Oregon at home. They're the better team, probably best team in the country right now. Ohio State would say otherwise, but give me Oregon.
Searles?
I want to do it so bad.
Do it.
I want to do it so bad.
I think
if this was in Indiana, I would take Indiana, but Autzen Stadium is crazy hard to play in. That environment's going to be popping. I think Indiana beats themselves a little too much and doesn't have quite the talent gap to be able to overcome it like Oregon can.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Indiana won this one, but you mentioned it there, Searles, the talent. I think that there's still a little bit of a gap there. I think the Ducks will be locked in for this one, so yeah, give me Oregon.
All right, the Red River Showdown. Number 6, Oklahoma against Texas in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Changing up the game time on this one. Usually it's 11 a.m. It's 2:30 on ABC. Is Oklahoma still a 1.5-point favorite? I had to know if the line moved.
I saw last I locked was Texas was 2.5-point favorite.
Okay, let's.
Yeah, it's been all over the place.
The line has been moving all over the place. I've been watching this one carefully.
That's it. I hadn't checked it. Still a 1.5-point favorite according to ESPN for Oklahoma. So again, one of those that has moved around. It's because this game is bonkers, and every time you think you know what's going to happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm thankfully not picking first in this one. Camden, you're.
We all know who you're picking. So.
You think you know who?
Ring the bell.
I was talking to Josh before we went on that I was just going to pick whoever he picked, but since I'm first, I have to choose first. I'm going to go Oklahoma. I'm going to say that Mateer comes back
and I don't have a lot of faith in Texas. Clearly, I picked Florida last week, and that worked out. So I'll go Oklahoma.
So Mateer is a full go for
We
this
don't know
game.
yet.
So that's the thing, right? I'll actually go Texas to bounce back here. Exactly like what you think's going to happen. I think Arch has a pretty solid game. Texas is still very good defensively. Give me Texas in this game. If it's Mateer, he's not anywhere near 100%. So give me Texas.
Yeah, that was why I'm going to take Texas here as well, just based off of if Mateer can't move and run around and do what he needs to do, Texas is going to come after him. And they've got enough talent in that front. And I'm not sold on Oklahoma's offensive line. I'm just not sold that they are going to be able to hold up in protection. I don't love their run scheme. I think Texas gets after them here. So hook them, I guess.
You're hooking them.
Everybody, you guys are focusing on John Mateer, whether or not he's going to play or not. I'm focusing on Arch Manning and how bad he's been. I don't know if Texas can score more than 10 points against Oklahoma, so I'm going to go with the Sooners.
That's my thinking too. Is okay. I mean, whatever Oklahoma's offense looks like, their defense is solid. So I think I'm going to go with Brent Venables' defense here, and you can go ahead and ring that bell. Give me the Sooners.
Thank you.
Give me the Sooners. Even though, again, I normally pick opposite of what is supposed to happen, what people think is going to happen, but I'm going to roll with the Oklahoma in this one. All right, number 22, Iowa State at Colorado. 2:30 on ESPN. Crazy here that Iowa State just favored by 2.5 in this one. But we'll see at Colorado. Kyle, you're up first.
Bounce back spot for Iowa State. Of course, coming off the loss to Cincinnati. Give me Iowa State on the road. I don't think Colorado's very good.
Yeah, Colorado does not have – they have a lot of talent, but they're not a good football team. And I've seen this movie before way too many times where you've got way too much talent, but you can't put it all together. And also I think I read Dion had – a procedure done this week, so not sure he's going to be on the sideline for that either. So I think this is a get-right game for the Staters. Go Cyclones.
I'm never going to pick the Buffs. The Clones bounced back this week from their tough loss last week.
I'll keep it rolling. I got the Cyclones to bounce back as well. All right, TCU at Kansas
what about
State.
Camden?
Sorry, I always forget when you're the last pick. That's when I always forget you. Well, who you got, Camden?
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Oh,
See, you didn't even make it like... You didn't even make it dramatic.
Make it fun, Camden.
All right. Both these teams have been absolutely infuriating for me. TCU and Kansas State. Yes. TCU at Kansas State. TCU hasn't won in Manhattan since, 2017. TCU, a slight favorite in this, 1.5 favorite. Horned Frogs over the Wildcats. Searles, you get to go first.
I know. I didn't want to go first on this one because this is a coin flip game, in my opinion. I don't really know enough about these teams besides that they both have been really good at times and both have looked like dog crap at times. So I'm gonna go with the underdog here, or excuse me, the favorite here. I'm gonna take TCU to upset Kansas State at home.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a coin toss for me. I'm going Horned Frogs as well.
I'm gonna go with the home team. I think TCU doesn't run the ball as well, and Kansas State, TCU wants to throw the ball. Kansas State's been pretty good at stopping the pass, so I'm gonna go with the Wildcats at home.
I'm gonna go with K-State as well. Pull the upset.
K-State, TCU, I'm never picking them again after last week. Gave up 17-point lead to start my 0-5 beginning. Give me K-State.
Fair.
Picking with your heart. I love it. Pick with your heart.
He's emotional picker. All right, Iowa State at Wisconsin. Iowa just a 3.5.
Iowa at Wisconsin. Yeah,
Iowa.
The state in there. That's
Iowa
right.
At Wisconsin, 3.5 point favorite for Iowa. Josh, you're back up first.
I think the Badgers season will continue to spiral. Mark Gronowski is, I don't know if he's going to play. That's another quarterback thing going on this week. The over-under for this game is 35.5.
Feed it to me.
I love it.
Gotta love that. So all that said, I'm going to go with Iowa.
All right, I think I'm also going to go with Iowa. Wisconsin, I don't trust them. So give me the Hawkeyes. Camden?
Yeah, Wisconsin's just not good. So Iowa.
Agreed. Iowa on the road.
All right.
Yeah, Iowa. Wisconsin has no shot. They can't out-physical Iowa. They're not the Wisconsin of old, and this Luke Fickell high-fly, try-and-beat Iowa thing is going to blow up horribly. This might be the last game Luke Fickell ever coaches.
Wow.
Calling it.
Hot take here. Florida at number 5, Texas A&M. This one's for you, Kyle. Florida has been on the picks list, every week? But one? Yeah. A&M's a 7.5 point favorite and undefeated, one of the few teams left unbeaten in college football. I'm up first. I'm still not a Gator believer. Give me the Aggies at home.
I picked Florida last week, and I'm not doing it again.
Oh.
At Texas A&M, home team. I think the Aggies get it done.
I picked against Florida last week. It hurt me. It truly did. And I'm picking against them again.
Wow.
Give me Texas A&M.
Searles?
Yeah, that place is wild to play at. I mean, just Kyle Field is nuts. I got to play there once. It was bananas. Not an easy place to play at all. They're excited about what their football team is. Probably a little too much for the Gators this week. Go Ags.
I don't know if A&M is the 5th best team in the country, but
no.
I think that they're going to find a way to win this game because they've done that so far this season. So I'm also going to make it a clean sweep.
All right. We got to roll through these last few picks. Michigan ranked 15th in the country at USC, but the Trojans are favored by 2.5 going into this one. Camden, you're up first.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the home team. I think USC does get it done.
I think it's an interesting game. I think it's how the Big Ten has gone all year. I think it's a USC game where, yeah, they're favored, but I think a lot of the money probably will head towards Michigan in this game. Give me USC and a bounce back spot at home.
Searles?
I'm gonna go Michigan here. I'm gonna take Michigan. I got to claw back somewhere in these rankings, so I'm gonna take Michigan here to go out west and beat USC.
Yeah, this feels like Illinois USC from a few weeks ago. I'm going with Michigan. I think that they out-physical USC.
Same with me as well. I mean, I said it in the Illinois matchup. I just don't think the USC likes the big physical front. We saw what they did to Nebraska, so I think it very well could be a feasting day for the Michigan front on defense. All right, BYU at Arizona, Saturday night, 7 o'clock. BYU a slight favorite over Arizona, I think 1.5. So, Kyle, you're back up first.
Give me the home team. Give me Arizona. I'll take the Wildcats.
Searles?
I'll take BYU here. I'll take BYU on the road to go down there and be the better offensive football team.
I haven't been impressed with very many or any really of Arizona's wins, so I'm going to go with BYU in this one.
I've also got BYU.
BYU.
Oh, Kyle's
unfortunate.
Streaming up.
Yes, could be Kyle. Good. We all know how that's going to go.
Swimming up.
Proud of you, Kyle.
I usually drown when I'm swimming upstream, so expect nothing different.
All right, Arizona State at Utah. The Big 12 has been wild, intriguing. Who's going to win it? I don't know. Every week it's crazy. But Arizona State at Utah. Utah is, I think, 5.5-point favorite last I checked. 9:15, another late one for you, Kyle. You love those matchups.
Love it.
And Searles, you get to pick first in this one.
Yeah, I think Utah is the better football team here. They stumbled a couple weeks ago. They looked back on track last week. I'm going to take Utah.
Yeah, night game at Utah. Tough environment to play in. I also have the Utes.
I do too. Like some of the projections, I don't always buy into it, but they are heavily towards the Utes. So I'm gonna not go against it this week. I got Utah.
Arizona State's hurt me a couple of weeks. I feel like I pick them and they lose, and I don't pick them, they win. So I'm gonna go Utah though.
All right.
Utah at home. I think it's worth an extra 3 points when you play at Utah. So give me the Utes.
Clean sweep there. All right.
Husker question. It's been a talking point all week. Over under 7.5 combined sacks in this game. Nebraska's defense kind of figured it out last week, but Maryland doesn't give up a lot of sacks. Nebraska's had their issues giving up sacks. How many sacks? I think it's my turn to go first, and I'm going to go with...
you have the question, so I feel like you should always go first.
Okay, I'll go with over on this one.
Okay.
Over
7.5.
Give me the under. I feel like I always go over, and I haven't been very good at these picks, so I'm going to go under. I think the Nebraska offensive line is better.
I'll go under. I'll have faith in Nebraska's offensive line and that it's not going to be 5 sacks this week. It'll be maybe 3.
To be fair, Nebraska's defense could get 8 sacks and just do it themselves.
But they had 4 last week, which was a season high. So I'm hoping that if they get 4 or even 5, that Nebraska offensive line does not give up 2 or 3.
Well, you look at it, Maryland's only given up 2 sacks all year. Pretty good pass blocking group. I say I would take the under. I think if you could think that if it goes against the trend, there's a lot of sacks in this game. They haven't played a front. I don't think Maryland what Nebraska is going to provide to them, especially of late. But give me the under.
All right. Well, there you have
it.
You're asking me to
I
pick against terrible offensive line play. And that makes me really sad because my heart says over, but I just can't do it. I got to give faith to the offensive linemen. Let's go under. I'm going to pick with my heart. Because if I say over and then we hit it, I don't want to be excited about it.
All right. I like it. So, Josh, you're the only one that picked the over.
Yeah, at least the people that are live right now. We'll see what the other. You might hear a little bit next segment. What some of the other
the
pickers.
interns and Nick have to say. All right, the Sports Nightly picks is brought to you by Choices Treatment Center. If you or someone you know is struggling with problem gambling, free treatment is available in Nebraska. Call Choices 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300 for more information. Where are those offices, Searles?
Lincoln and Columbus.
I love it. All right, we got to get to a break. More of the show coming up after this.
A little more slack. Plug it in.
Whoever said work smarter, not harder, didn't realize you could do both.
Get 0.9% plus $32.50 cash on F-150 or lease F-150 for $4.99 a month and 0 down.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorce seed-enless corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore enlist corn and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same: a wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
A little more slack. Plug it in.
Whoever said work smarter, not harder, didn't realize you could do both.
Get 0.9% plus $3,250 cash on F-150 or lease F-150 for $499 a month and $0 down.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Esteban Quintero, Camden Cone, back in the Akrs Broadcast Studio. I'm Nick Hanley with you. Just got a little bit of time left here on our last full show of the week. 1 hour show tomorrow before we bring you Husker volleyball. That'll hit the airwaves at 7 o'clock with the first serve at 8 against Washington over at the Devaney Center. Time to give you my picks. And as you heard, they went down the scoreboard there. I finally got myself over 500 after an 8-3 week. 8-2 on picks. I missed out on the question. So I am 37-33 right now. So I'm trying to make my move. It's all I can do right now. So I'm going to rattle through my picks really quickly. I'm going against the grain. Look, I think Bama is on to something. I do. There's something, and maybe it's the old Big 8, Big 12 days when Missouri had something going and there was a big game in Columbia, Missouri. I remember sometimes too fondly where Missouri would able to get a team, whether it was Nebraska, the occasion, which, of course, Blaine Gabbert would have different things to say, and Corby Jones would have different things to say in the, of course, 1997 game. But there is something about that Missouri crowd coming to life. I think Missouri gets it done. I think they beat Alabama. I'm also going to take Oregon over Indiana. I don't even think that one is going out on a limb. I think Indiana is a good team. I saw it mentioned on the chat that Kurt Cignetti hasn't had a signature win. I think he's had some really solid wins, but one of this caliber, I think, would put him in a different echelon of coaches. And I don't know if he's there yet. I shouldn't say I don't know if he's there yet. I just don't know if Oregon is going to be very kind hosts to Indiana. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Mark my words. I'm going to go with Texas over Oklahoma. I think the Longhorns do get right. I'm with Jessica. I think this game is always a wild one. As she said, a wacky one out there in the Red River rivalry. I'm going to take Texas to get right and beat Oklahoma in that one. I've got Iowa State over Colorado. I agree with the gang. I don't think Colorado is very good. TCU over K-State. The Dylan Edwards news to me, I think, is significant that he will not play in this game for Kansas State. I think that also tilts a little bit more in the road team and TCU's favorite. I'm going to take TCU to win the game over Kansas State. I've got Iowa over Wisconsin. Very interesting. Big Dog saying that this could be Luke Fickell's last game. The buyout might say otherwise, but I do think Wisconsin is in a downward spiral. I think Iowa will be good enough, and I still wouldn't be shocked if the under of 35 points hits in this one, but Iowa probably wins 6-2 in this one. Texas A&M, I love what Florida has shown here as of late, but I'm still going to roll with the Aggies at Kyle Field. Texas A&M over Florida. I got Michigan over USC. I also think that Michigan, that defense traveling to USC, I think is going to be the difference in this one. I'm going to take the Wolverines to beat USC. I've got BYU over Arizona, and I've got Utah over Arizona State. The Utes at home against Arizona State. I do like the Utes in this one. And then my answer to the question, the 7.5 combined sacks between Nebraska and Maryland in this one, I'm with Josh. I'm taking the over. I just am until I see otherwise. And I know Maryland's not giving up a lot of sacks. I agree, though, that they maybe haven't seen the type of front that Nebraska can apply in some of the what we might see from just creative blitzing from John Butler. But also, I got to see more out of Nebraska's offensive line. And until I do, I'm going to say over on the 7.5. That is my picks here for the week. When we come back, we will wrap things up. A great slate of college football games, but there's some sneaky good ones in the Big Ten. We'll give you those before we get out of here. Sports Nightly continues.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Hogemeyer, we're raising the bar on yield performance, bringing world-class traits and genetics to these local fields with the exceptional corn rootworm control and proven powerful yields of new Vorceed-less corn. The unsurpassed flexibility and protection against above-ground pests with PowerCore-less corn, and other next-gen corn hybrids built to perform and boost your yields. It's time to raise a better crop. View Hogemeyer products at therightseed.com.
Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. A big shout out to our little family within the family, our chat group. They are awesome. They've got everything fired up, and we want to make sure we congratulate the winners. They take part in the picks as well. 2 weeks ago, it was Sandy. He was the winner. He goes 9-1. That was 2 weeks ago. And then this last week, it was Dryce going 9-1. Well done, gentlemen. And I saw them already firing off the picks right now, too. So there we go. Congratulations to you guys. Hey, outside of those top 25 matchups in the Big Ten, there's some good ones in there. I don't know, maybe I'm a sicko, but that 11 a.m. UCLA-Michigan State game, I'm curious to see, aren't you guys? To see what UCLA does after that win against Penn State, and Michigan State after feeling like they had a victory against Nebraska and then doesn't happen. I don't know. There's some good ones there. And then, yeah, Michigan-USC going to be a lot of fun as well. For my man Camden Cohn and Esteban Quintero, I'm Nick Hanley. It's been Sports Nightly on a Thursday. Appreciate you being with us.
402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
As the world's largest family-owned and operated manufacturer of grain storage, drying, and handling equipment, Sukup Manufacturing Company has led the way in innovation, offering top-quality products that empower farmers to thrive. Get ready to tackle your agricultural challenges with Sukup, where innovation meets reliability. Visit sukup.com today to find a dealer near you.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need.
So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.